Hey guys, I hope everyone is doing well. Today's video is going to be a bit of a mashup. I'm not going to say this video has come completely off the rails, but it needed some serious redirection to get it done. Let me explain. A few months ago, I had the idea to make a video documenting foot-pound energy drop at different ranges in sub 500 feet per second air guns in 177, 22, and 25 cal. Simple enough, right? And I thought that would be a useful video for the many Canadians who message me asking if any particular sub 500 gun can be used for this or that application. Now, how I make a YouTube video is a pretty simple process. I brainstorm a handful of ideas and pick one that I like. Then I kind of storyboard it in my head and write down a list of the shots that I need to get. Target footage, B-roll, things like that. Then I go out and film it, all the while thinking about what I'm going to script for the voiceover. After filming it, I sit down with the raw footage and write and record the voiceover. Then, I finally get to edit and compile everything together. And usually, it's pretty close to the vision that I had in my head from the beginning. With organizing gear and drive time, this can take me between 12 and 20 hours total, depending on the video, occasionally a little longer, which is a lot of time when you have other things going on. I personally do not have any ambition to make money off of YouTube. Of course, I'd like to grow my channel, but cash isn't really a consideration. I do this as a way to dive a little bit deeper into a hobby that I love. If I can educate a few newcomers, entertain some seasoned shooters, and do a little community building as I go, I'll be satisfied. On 3 separate days, I set out to record this video and faced multiple setbacks each time, with the third attempt yielding the strangest issues yet, and bringing me to the decision that there are other things I'd rather focus on. My time is valuable to me, and producing consistent content for any platform is hard. With YouTube in particular being very time-consuming, especially with adult responsibilities and multiple real jobs demanding my attention. So here we'll have an incomplete video idea with what I'm hoping is a complete video with enough data for you to extrapolate what you need to know to get any answers you might need, and hopefully I'll manage to entertain you along the way. Okay, let's get to the thing that finally caused me to decide to move on to the next video idea. I was planning to crony sub 500 feet per second guns at the muzzle at 10 meters, 20 meters, and 30 meters to get an idea of how their energy depreciates over distance. The guns were all zeroed, Caldwell Crony had a fresh battery and was working fine, everything was going smooth through 10 meters. At 20, I couldn't get 177 to register on the Crony. I thought maybe it was my bad due to using a red dot on the gun over a scope. Maybe I wasn't on target, but that gun and red dot are both accurate at that range, and I was sure I was running directly over the chronograph. I'm confident in my shooting ability here. I decided to go back to 177 later in the day and got on to 22, which went just fine. When I moved on to 25, however, I couldn't get any shots to register again, so I tried 22 again. Every shot registered just fine. Put 15 more 177 and 10 more 25 cal shots over the Crony at 20, with not one single shot registering. Pick up the 22 thrown, and the very first shot that went over the chronograph registered. During this process of shooting pellets over slightly different spots on the Crony, trying to get some kind of reading, I shot the chronograph a few times. Still seems to work though. And yes, I do realize that there are less janky setups than what I'm using here to get this done, but they say to work with what you've got, and so here we are. I'm really confused by this. The guns were all running over the same spot on the Crony. They definitely weren't going too slow, as I ran some very slow guns over it to confirm that that was not the issue. If you have any idea what's going on here, share your thoughts down in the comments. And no, solutions like get an FX Crony or get a real Crony are not acceptable answers. I'm clearly missing something simple here, I just can't seem to figure out what it is, so a little help would be appreciated. That aside, 22 cal worked just fine, so here are the results from that. I'll be shooting H&N's Field Target Trophy pellets that weigh in at 14.66 grains. At the muzzle, the sub 500 feet per second 22 cal Throne Gen 2 is shooting about 487 feet per second. That's 7.72 foot-pounds of energy. At 10 meters, the pellets were traveling at 465 feet per second and making 7.03 foot-pounds of energy. Out at 20, they were going 440 feet per second, making 6.3 foot-pounds of energy. And finally, at 30 meters, they were going 423 feet per second and making 5.8 foot-pounds of energy, nearly 2 foot-pounds of drop over 30 meters. That doesn't sound like a lot, and it's honestly less of a drop than I was expecting, but when you think about it being nearly 25% of the pellet's overall energy, it's still a good amount, and it would likely start to deteriorate rather quickly out past 30. Will that drop determine what kind of small game hunting or pesting you'll do at 20 or 30 meters? That's up to the individual. I personally don't think that sub 500, 177, or 22 is an effective choice for that kind of thing. Yes, 22 can get it done for sure, but I think that if you're serious about being humane 100% of the time, 25 cal is the only way to go for sub 500 guns. It gives you plenty of extra energy, even at 30, and takes some of the pressure out of needing absolute perfect shot placement every time. And there we have it. Not the video I was planning to make, but a video that I'm happy with just the same. Is it perfect? Probably not. And maybe at some point I'll revisit 25 cal because I actually think knowing how that drops off is useful, or at least more useful than 177 and 22. And I think that sort of really sums up my existence on YouTube so far. I like to make videos that make me happy, and videos that are maybe kinda sorta half useful to a handful of people. And I'm done with this video idea for now. Up next will likely be a trick shot video. They don't get many views for me here on YouTube, but I thoroughly enjoy making them. So it is what it is. Feel free to tell me what you think about all this down in the comments. I'm sure there are at least a couple people who know what my problem is in regards to my chronograph issues. Anyways, as always, I appreciate everyone who watched this far. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.